did acknowledge our amazing entertainment that mariachi band from the school district here in Waukegan. What a fun thing to have. So appreciate that.
But there's so many different stations that.
I want to thank all our sponsors and truly all of you guests. Help yourself. Sit where you need to. We have a silent auction here. Bids can be put on throughout the whole time here. We'll probably close it about 10 minutes before the presentation is over.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful giving tree that was created by some phenomenal
Walls sponsors.
I'll be getting to them. I promise. What I needed was
Just trying to get the attention of people.
the giving tree. We have kind of a wish list as we've grown and know that we have different needs, and it would really be appreciated if it was supported by the designated gift. And so they created the different things that we are looking for in different dollar amounts. If you're interested in finding something on that giving tree that you'd like to be able to donate for, write your name on it. There's little envelopes, either put in a check or we take credit cards. It's working. And
Excuse me, folks.
the little envelope goes in that little slot. And it was a wonderful idea. And those are things that we really right now need. I also need to recognize the elected officials that have come here tonight. Some of them being our speakers, so we're lucky in that vein. We'll want to recognize Janet Kilkelly, Lisa May, Patricia Jones, and Mark Jones. Thank you very much. Our very first speaker tonight is an amazing man. But I first want to get to our sponsors and acknowledge those sponsorships. We did it kind of in a Olympics theme, having gold medals and silver medals. But I was wowed by the response and so appreciate those that have sponsored us. The Waukegan Public Library, Van Dam Hug Foundation, Henderson Foundation, Ken and Sandy Falkingham, and Vista Health System. We have silver medal sponsors as well that were wonderful. Studio North, Jim and Linda McCullough, and NRG Energy. Our bronze medal sponsors, kept coming forward. Thank you again. Martin Financial Resources, Arlene Martinsburg. Something I know very well, the Fulton Family Dental. My dentist, coming and sponsoring us. North States Bank, I know I spotted Colleen. Used to be a competitor, not anymore. We also got a sponsorship from an organization called Pediatrics Interactions and WeBids. They also have partnered and collaborated with us because their focus is on infants and toddlers and truly making a difference in some of their lives. These are specialists that can help with developmental delay. They even come and teach parents how to do baby massages. So it's a really neat company, and we're so pleased to have met them and gotten this sponsorship from them. We also have a recognition from Jamie Angela Salon. I know they're over there. Wonderful ladies who have two gorgeous babies. and so appreciate their support. Thank you again. Now, I am going to try to move this along and share our speakers tonight. Mike Nerheim is our first speaker. I think most everybody does know Mike. He's our Lake County State's attorney, and he has agreed to come and say a few words. He's supposed to be in Deerfield at 7:30, so it's okay if he's brief and asks us right after, but we sure appreciated him coming.
Thank you, Beth. This is kind of neat to be here because this is a lot of old friends in the room here. Mrs. Drew, she's working the table, but I've known her for a long time. Mrs. Flanagan, a lot of really good people here. So everybody, thank you for coming. The board, thank you for supporting this organization, and all of you for supporting this great organization. You may be wondering why a prosecutor cares about early childhood education and making sure that young people are reading ready.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'll tell you why. I know it's not just because my wife is a kindergarten teacher by trade, she is, but she insisted early on when we had our kids that we read to them literally from birth. I remember our oldest child, we were in the Forest Hospital, and he was literally in the little incubator thing, and she's reading a story to him, and I'm thinking, what's he doing? He has no idea what you're talking about. But I've come to recognize why, and why that's important, and why you have to read to kids from birth, and why those critical birth to age 3, 4, 5 years old, that period of time is really such a critical period of time in somebody's development. And the reason I care so much as somebody in law enforcement is I know the statistics and the studies that tell us that if we lose these kids by age 3, 4 years old, it's very hard for them to catch back up, and they are statistically much more likely to end up in the criminal justice system. The United Way did a study in 2012 as part of their reading readiness program for kindergarten in Waukegan. Now this was in 2012, but sadly 62% of kindergartners didn't know what a book was. Not couldn't read, they didn't know what a book was. Now, we've come a long way because of groups like this and because of a lot of your efforts to change that. So it's really about helping kids have those reading skills so we can level the playing field and give them the tools that they need so they can be successful. There's a parable I use when I talk about this, and I talk about it a lot, believe it or not. I'm part of a group that's called Fight Crime, Invest in Kids. And essentially what we are a group of law enforcement leaders from around the country, chiefs of police, prosecutors, and sheriffs, and we talk to Congress and our state legislators about funding early childhood education. You know, the other day somebody was asking me about all the crime and all the shootings and all the violence we're seeing in Chicago, and they said, what's your opinion? Do we need more police? Do we need more prisons? Do we need more jails? Do we need more courthouses? And I think my answer surprised them. I said, we need more preschools. And if you think about it, that's where we need to focus. I think when we look at the crime problem, we spend a lot of time looking at the problem way downstream, and we have to get upstream and solve this problem at its source and level that playing field. And I'll end with that parable. So there's 3 people, and they're walking up the bank of a river, and they see this guy comes flowing down the river, and he's drowning. He's flailing his arms. So he runs. One of the 3 guys runs in the river, grabs him, pulls him out, brings him to shore. And just as they get him to shore, they notice a second guy coming down the river, drowning, flailing his arms. So the second guy goes in the river and saves that person, brings him to shore. And just as they get the second person to shore, they look and they see all these groups of people coming down the river, drowning, flailing their arms. So the 2 start to go on the river to start saving those people, and the one stays back, and he starts heading upstream. And they said, where are you going? We got all these people we got to save. They're drowning. And the third person says, well, I'm going upriver to stop these people from falling in the first place. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing by supporting this organization, is you're getting upriver and you're helping these kids have the tools that they need. So with that, thank you for what you guys do, Beth. You're amazing. Thank you all for helping this organization and for what you do for our community. Thank you.
Again, Mike is on his way to work. But I know he knows how important this is and has supported us from the beginning. Next speaker, this amazing lady, who I have now known for quite a while. Patricia Jones, could you please come up?
How's everybody doing today? Good. Great. So this is a celebration, and I'd like to treat it that way. So we're talking about wow. So we want to take advantage of this opportunity and say wow whenever you feel like it, okay? Nelson Mandela said, and I quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Beth Ragsdale stated on January 12, 2015, on her Facebook page when she said, "Happy birthday," and she states, "Words on Wheels is going to make a difference in our communities. Are you ready to change lives?" Wow! Two people from different worlds, but alike in so many ways, to change the world. Ladies, gents, and children, I am beyond pleased to be here this evening during this celebration of wow. Thank you, Beth Ragsdale, Words on Wheels Board of Directors, staff, and volunteers for allowing me the privilege of addressing you on such a vital issue concerning and regarding our children and their future, ultimately our future. Remember that Michael Jackson song, "We Are the World," and the chorus, especially for our children here? We are the world, we are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. So while doing my preparation for this speech, I decided to use wow as the ultimate expression, wow. But then there are statistics that I'm going to recite before you. And it's not a wow moment, but it's a wow. So can you imagine the children at the Staven House when having the opportunity to create nice, perfectly rounded, colorful bubbles after dipping in the utensil, in the bottle, taking that utensil, stirring it around? Do any of you remember that, or are you too young to remember? Stirring it around, pulling it up, and blowing, wanting to make the perfect, colorful bubble. Well, this is just one of the unique, plain and simple approaches and fun games that's brought to the children at the Staven House on behalf of WOW. So we have infants and older children who reside at the Staven House. And we know that statistics show us when babies are born. When we are born, we enter the world learning.
Okay.
That's a wow factor. From birth to age 5, the brain is developing at a rapid pace, and whatever we absorb, we're going to maintain for several years, hopefully. So is there a need for Words on Wheels, Beth? Well, according to information provided by childrensbookbank.org, in low-income neighborhoods, the ratio of books to children is 1 book of every 300 children. Wow. Far below the ratio of 13 books per child in middle and upper income neighborhoods. A child from a low-income family enters first grade with an average of only 25 hours of one-to-one picture book reading, compared to 1,000 to 1,700 hours for a child from a typical middle-income home. Children from low-income homes heard 30 million fewer words by the time they were 3 years old, resulting in vocabularies less than 50% the size of their upper middle-income peers. The average 5-year-old middle-income home recognizes 22 letters from the alphabet, while an average 5-year-old from a low-income household recognizes only 9. Wow. A child from a low-income family enters kindergarten with a listening vocabulary of 3,000 words. But look at what happens with a child coming from the middle income. They come into kindergarten knowing 20,000 words. Wow. So in his State of the Union address, President Barack Obama said, and I quote, that in states that make it a priority to educate our youngest children, studies show students grow up more likely to read and do math at grade level, graduate high school, hold a job, and form more stable families of their own. We know this works. So let's do what works and make sure none of our children start the race of life already behind. Beth Ragsdale and the Words of World team, Wheels team, you're doing a phenomenal job affording early literacy skills to a number of children in Lake County, impacting their futures one word and one book at a time. Wow. So at Staven House, the average length of stay is 4 months. 63 individuals were served in 2014 and 2015 fiscal year. Beth Ragsdale served as the advisory chair, and we appreciate your commitment, Beth. 40 children were served ranging from infants to pre and middle school age. Moms, many of whom did not come from the best circumstances, including that of domestic violence, are required to work, take their kids to daycare or take their kids to school, execute assigned chores at the house, and nurture their children, all while worrying about creating a successful and creative exit plan. So you see, that's a lot to put on someone that's coming into the world in a disadvantaged situation. But because of WOW, because of Words on Wheels, along with other volunteers like those of you in this audience, we have children that's exposed to the arts in several different magnitudes, whether it be by poetry, music lessons, violin lessons, or sewing lessons for the males and females. You see, then we notice that there's a remarkable difference in their stance in life. They believe that they can take the world and hold on to it and remain stable and unshakable like that mighty oak tree that they read about. So allow me to mention one other area as it pertains to our children, and that's the children of the incarcerated. Several years ago, myself and a few other service providers founded and created the Coalition to Reduce Recidivism, because we were coming into contact with several children whose parents are incarcerated. But listen to this wow moment, this wow statistics. 744,200 fathers and 65,600 mothers are incarcerated, and this is as of 2014. Accordingly, 52% of state inmates and 63% of federal inmates reporting having a total estimate of over 1 million, close to 2 million children that's left here for us to educate and prepare to coexist into this world. We're looking at approximately 2.3% of the United States population of students and children whose parents are incarcerated. Wow. But there's a wow factor. Beth and your organization, your phenomenal team, you're working towards breaking that cycle of hopelessness, breaking that cycle of homelessness and unemployment, and we salute you. And continue doing the awesome job that you're doing. And because this is for the boys and girls and the children and all of us and the children present, I want to conclude this with everyone joining in with that chorus. We are the world. We are the children. Come on, you know the song. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we better make a date, just you and me. Wow! Wow.
Going to be one of the moms from Stamen House, a delightful lady named Crystal Lassiter, but I don't believe Crystal was able to make it here tonight. I spoke to her last night, so I'm still hoping she may come. She was one of the mothers who helped us when we first started making our visits over to Stamen House. There's 3 wonderful children, and little Caden's 5 was one of our favorites, and has lots of pictures. She had 2 older daughters, India and Jada. One of them that, oh, is she there?
She's on her way.
She's on her way.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll let her talk when she comes, because she is a delightful lady. Has transitioned out of the transitional living, so has her own apartment. The kids, we talk to them, and they have enough room for everybody now, and she works at the VA in their child care facility. So she's just a delightful person. We'll bring her when she can. I have also then asked Dr. Ozella Barnes, who is the Director of Programs at A Safe Place. I would think most of you know A Safe Place, domestic violence organization here in Lake County. I too was very involved when I was a banker, and thank them very much. But Dr. Barnes, please.
I don't really know how to follow Patricia. She said it all. I wish I had a win before her. I'll tell you a little bit. A Safe Place, just in case you don't know, we are an agency that works with victims and survivors of domestic violence, and we have a full continuum of services. So we're in the courthouse, and we help with orders of protection. We have a family visitation center in Mundelein where we do supervised visits and exchanges. We also have counseling that goes all the way across our programs because we have an emergency shelter that's at a secure location, and then we also have housing in Zion where we have 40 units. And so that brings me to how we know Beth. You know that, many of you might know that domestic violence is one of the most horrific forms of violence that that anybody can experience because it's a war zone in your home. 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime, in her home. And so you have to think about how many moms that is and how many children are affected by that. And the biggest piece about that is children are the lost voices of domestic violence, particularly our toddlers and our infants, and they are affected by violence. They don't have any say-so. Nobody leans down and tells the kids this is what's going on, or this is where we're going, or this is what's going to happen, or give them some kind of voice in the process. They have to go along for the ride, and they have no voice in the process. So when they get to us, it's really important that people who work with them understand that they have heightened startle responses, that they may not read cues as calmly as other kids. They may be easily triggered and more rambunctious, more excitable, lots more energy. And Beth and her team, they are lifesavers. We don't have enough funding to have the staff breadth and depth that we need to serve all the children on our campus. I think right now we have about 60-some kids on our campus. The average mom has about 3 children, and like I said, we have 40 apartments. And so we provide support groups, and for those support groups, we have to have children's support groups so that moms can get the help that they need, and children also get the services they need. And Beth and her team come in every first and third Wednesday of the month to help us with those small children who are so excited to see them when they come, to have faces that are warm and friendly and there for you and patient and playful and lots of activities. Kids, our kids like to be stimulated a lot. And Beth comes with a cadre of folks who are so patient and so go with the flow. Whatever we need, they're willing to come in beside us and make it happen. And we could not do it without them. We would have to cancel those groups if it were not for Beth and her team. So I'm here for that wow factor, because we couldn't do what we do if it weren't for Beth and her team. It means a lot to us for them to take the time to be with our kids twice a month, 2 hours at a time. So thanks so much, and I'm happy to be here today.
Really amazing places. Again, our little group coming to play is nothing like what kind of supportive services Stephen House and a Safe Place provides for women and their children. So I also had asked a wonderful little mom from Safe Place, because we just adore her children. We see 3 of the 4 of them, but Amanda also was unable to make it tonight. But these, again, special little people that we get greeted now every time we come with great big hugs, and they just can't wait. We have to slow down their patience on when it's time to go out and play with the bubbles, but you know, it really, again, is the most rewarding thing we're doing. So, sorry Amanda's not here to share, but we have some great moms as well. I want to share what is Words on Wheels. I would suggest most of you have heard this from me for many years, but for those of you who haven't, or just want to be updated, we are a local non-for-profit organization right here in Lake County. We offer a high-quality volunteer program that uses proven early childhood literacy tools. As we described, yes, we bring books. We love to have our books and we read as much as we can. But we have puppets, so we engage in puppetry and playing pretend. We then have musical instruments, and there's some examples, but there's nothing like when we get Old MacDonald's Farm going, you know, in the room, and it's just so much fun with the horns and the tambourines, and even the babies play with the maracas. We also then bring our bubbles, and those, as we know, bubbles, doesn't matter what age you are, we all have bubbles. So it's been wonderfully nice out, and going outside to do that, we'll have to figure out, because it is kind of messy inside. But our focus is, as Mike and these ladies described, we are trying to get to the most at-risk infants and toddlers before they reach 3, before they reach 5. The more words we can bring them, the more engagement we can give them, the better off these little people are gonna be, and we know it. Plus, how much you give back. And what makes us unique and a little different from any other program that is out there and about, and we need all of them, because she's talking about those millions of children, but we bring the words to them. So, like a Meals on Wheels, we're Words on Wheels. Where do we find those children? And we bring the things to them. Transportation, we know, is a big issue. So our goal is we're gonna find where they are. And we've got some exciting things for our future as well. And this is what I'm most proud of, because it took me a lot longer, and the whole board will agree, to get an organization going. You know, to understand what processes, how to make sure we have quality, you know, the background check. We had a meeting with Mike Nerheim. How do we do this? I didn't realize there was so many options and thoughts behind doing it. And I want to make sure it's done right. The testing that we, you know, are going to ask our volunteers to do. So we really want to set a high bar, because we do expect, again, these people to take on a challenge and have the patience when they go on a visit and really be engaged with these children if they're a volunteer. And we have done it. So starting last year, at the very end of the year, was our first visit at a statement house. Thank you, Patricia and Letty. Since that time, we have now gone on 22 different visits. We have spent 222 hours with children. That is such a wonderful. And they are given these little activity bags at each visit, which they get to keep. So we have given over 147 just over this week bags that we have given to children in our community. So. So I'm going to introduce you to Crystal Lassiter, an alumni of the Statement House and a mom who knows about Words on Wheels.
Hello everybody, I hope you're having a good evening. Well, I'm going to give you a little background of where I've been and what the Words on Wheels has the experience with their program. I'm excited to be here this evening tonight to share my experience. A year ago, my family and I were homeless and living from hotel to hotel off my income tax. When I came across the very nice shelter for women and children, I used this place as a way to start over and build a better relationship with my children. By staying at the shelter, they had different programs to help mothers with financial programming, parenting, and life skills. Words on Wheels was one of the programs that came to the house to give children interesting books, word development, enhanced language, and sing with instruments and bubbles, which was my son's favorite. This program was really helpful. My son loves books and takes this experience by doing language and developing his early literacy. So, so this program is like very useful, and my children love to read. So, yeah, so that's my little experience from the
And again, a role model for these adorable children to love. So I'm going to move it along and wrap up with our recognitions. I have had some amazing, incredible volunteers that you maybe have met tonight. Many who are already talking you into volunteering things. But I'd like to start out with a recognition of some very special ladies. Only one of them was just here tonight because the other one has class and work. Okay. Stand up, Sarah. Sarah Navarro. Who is a student receiving for her master's in nursing through the DePaul University, which contacted me and said, the University of Health Sciences here in North Chicago, Rosalind Franklin University, is where they're holding their classes. And DePaul University has had a successful history of community-based service learning that is part of their curriculum. I mean, their required number of hours that they have to fulfill in doing these community work. And we were given a benefit that we got to meet them and they got to meet us, and starting in January of this year, Sarah and Exida are officially our volunteers for the next 2 full years of their work. So again, they come and call me, so she deserves a lot of recognition, has showed up at many of our visits, as well as spent hours on our inventory and all sorts of tasks and things that we've asked them to do. So, amazing. Next, Mr. Lee. We would like to provide a special thank you to you. Wayne Lee, come on up. He is truly one of our wow heroes, and we for sure feel he deserves the volunteer up here.
It's the reward of working with you three. You twisted my arm. I'm sorry. No. Sure thing.
He's so multi-talented. You see him with his camera. You should see him online and Facebook and Google and every kind of technical thing. But his background is an elementary school educator from Zion Elementary School. And he has, again, become our volunteer of the year. So, Wayne, if you want to say a few things, it's up to you.
No, it's been perfect. I'm happy to be here and happy to help all the children. It's about them. It's our future. So that's it.
That's it.
For Wayne, but we also have a cape for Wayne, a super Wayne cape, because we lost a very important file with a lot of information, and I
I'm there.
The official cake.
You're a blessing.
Our next recognition, and I know she's here, but Dawn Allen, could you please come up? With her hands up. This amazing lady, so very talented in so many ways, but outdid herself this year. Had been telling us that she could do it for a while, and wow, did she ever. She put together a benefit at the Greentown Tavern just a few weeks ago with musicians that were just amazingly talented, with awesome raffles and et cetera, et cetera. So again, Dawn, this is for you. But you are our fundraiser officially of the year. Next comes, again, I'm not going to get emotional, but Arlene Martin, who most of you know, has been the board president since the very start. So before we talk to the anything, Arlene is still guiding us. To me, she has truly given her heart and soul to us in innumerable ways, building these strong community partnerships and the contacts that she has and using them and being amazing. Formed our foundation for our board of directors meetings, chairing those meetings for years and years.
5 years.
Yes. So, just to say a few words here.
Wow. I can't say it enough, Patricia. Wow. So, yeah, it has been my extreme honor and privilege to be part of this incredible journey with Words on Wheels. In serving as the board president for the last 5 years, I've enjoyed building many great friendships and focusing on the amazing mission of Words on Wheels. Working with Beth from startup to launch with Words on Wheels has been an extraordinary experience, and the original board was really made up of just some friends that got together from First Midwest Bank. And so it was like the alumni were there and a couple of friends, and Beth had been my friend for many, many years before. So, but what we did in the early days is we got together and it was so much fun. We laughed and we talked as close friends often do, and we dreamed about the future of Words on Wheels. Over time, we became a little more serious and we got to work, and were inspired by the incredible impact that we hoped we could make for the children in Lake County communities. So we started with website development and interviewed several companies until we settled on the perfect one. We've learned much about website development over the years, and right now we're very, very proud of our website. The next part of our process was the complete development of volunteer training. We wanted to be able to bring in volunteers and have it all ready to go. We were fortunate enough to have an infant toddler specialist with Beth's sister from California, named Bobby, who was a great, great resource for us. Next came web-based training, which Beth, Peg Drew, and I filmed together, and boy, did we have a lot of fun. We laughed, and it was amazing how silly we looked at times. But Alexia Martin back there was our videographer, and she was awesome and quite amazing. And she's been invaluable to the board as an IT expert, so thank you so much for that. And we have had many great board members over the years who have helped us to achieve that magical goal of launching. So we're super excited. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. The next step was developing a strategic plan for Words on Wheels, which is the one thing that I'm really most proud of. We now have a working document that we can take out at each of our board meetings that allows us to be mindful of the tasks ahead of us and what we still need to accomplish. I plan to continue on the board for many years, but I hope to focus on the strategic planning and the expansion and growth of Words on Wheels. So through the years, we have built many strategic partnerships with the Safe Place, the Statement House, the YWCA, Community Action Partnership, and they're just a few. We have also had great support from the donors and volunteers and many wonderful people in Lake County. So we're very, very fortunate. Over the last 5 years, we've accomplished much, and I'm really proud to have been part of this process. But there were some aha moments. So learning that a child will hear 30 million words by the age of 3 in a family focused on reading just blew my mind. Wow, that's a lot of words to hear. But also learning that some children may only hear about 10 million words by the age of 3 equally surprised me and saddened me. So we know in low to moderate income areas where the focus is really on the parents earning a living, might be a single mom, and that family, they don't have the time to read, they're working 2 or 3 jobs. So knowing this, that parent is coming home at the end of the day and they're very, very tired, and so here's where we might step in and hopefully make that difference. But what we were also fortunate enough to do is we got to hear J.B. Pritzker speak a couple of years ago at the United Way breakfast in Lake County, and a couple people I think were there. And so I really, really understood the importance of early childhood development and learning for young children. And I also learned that the brain of a child develops to 90% by the age of 3. So hearing those words and having that time is really, really critical. But what we like to do is we like to spend an hour a week reading, singing songs, blowing bubbles, and playing with the children. And in doing so, we hope to make a big difference within this community. In the last couple of months, we've focused on the transitional living centers, and we're so excited to have you come and speak today and share your story. So thank you for that. And we know that the children really appreciate the time and the special attention from Words on Wheels volunteers. So I am excited about the opportunity and the future for Words on Wheels. And as we transition to our new board president, Nadine Johnson, I'm excited about that, and I know that she will do an amazing job. So thank you all.
Transition does come to welcoming our new incoming board president, hopefully for the next 5 years. Is that what we said? Nadine Johnson.
Thank you. I'm also a friend of Beth from First Midwest Bank. Beth was my boss, and so sold me on the idea of Words on Wheels. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you tonight. And I'm truly honored to take on the role of president for this wonderful organization, and excited about the opportunity to move the organization forward. I have some big shoes to fill, Arlene's, and I'm just really excited. So what are the next steps, the steps for WOWs going forward? We have plans to establish new locations in North Chicago, Zion, and Waukegan. We're very excited about that. We plan to expand our visits to home daycare providers and pediatric clinics. We found that there's a need for that. There's truly a need for our services in those facilities, so we're excited. Also, we plan to expand to weekend and weekday mornings hours with our volunteers, so look out for that. So to do all of this, though, we need more volunteers. We need you, each of you in this room. If you'd like to become a WOW volunteer, please see any of our board members. Could I have the board members stand, please? So you could identify them. Thank you all so much for your hard work and dedication to Words on Wheels. All right, we're also looking for a volunteer coordinator. So if you can think of anyone, please let us know. All right, and fundraising, that's why we're all here tonight. We're focused on fundraising, and as you all know, fundraising is critical to sustain in this organization and the good work we do. So in closing, I encourage each of you to take these steps with Words on Wheels and help us to bring words to the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Very exciting. And this is the wrap. I want to thank you for coming. The silent auction is being closed.
15 minutes.
Oh, I thought we closed it 10 minutes ago.
Did we close it?
Okay, let's close it. One more round. I want to tell your story, but let's close it. I'm done. 10 more minutes. Unless you have to leave. I don't want people to be running too late. You have taken a step in becoming an advocate for literacy just by being here tonight, and I feel and see the support from this community, and it's just amazing. This is a picture taken again at one of our Statement House visits. It's my nephew who was here visiting and kind of roped him into becoming a volunteer. It was his mom that was the early childhood specialist. And I have to share, as you can see the story he was reading, and I think they spent an hour on the couch just sitting there gathered and reading over and over. You remember you were there too, Crystal. However, that evening when we got home, he said, "You know what, Aunt Beth? I know that little boy now knows the word curious. And he'll know it forever." They read Curious George over and over that night. And I said, "Yeah, doesn't that feel the best? You have made a difference, and we are making a difference. So let's keep it going. We need all your support, awareness, whatever you can do to help us do this. It's going to take a community and a village. But I can't thank you all enough for coming." That's it.